Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. It is awesome to be here with you today. And before I start, as you can see to my left or my right, I don't know, Ian, we're not going to put this in the audio portion, but welcome, Denise, to the podcast today. We are talking about a very, very important topic. So if you are an accountant, a CPA, an EA, a tax person, tax resolution person, tax planner, tax attorney, this is for you. How to show your value to potential customers, because a lot of accountants come to Denise and I and, struggle to figure out what to price their services at, number one, but also figure out the value in their price and share it with your clients where they don't have to always say, well, that's just too much money, or I just need to think about it because I don't have the funds right now, or, you're like 5 times more expensive from the other accountant that I've been working with. So Denise and I are going to be talking about that today, so when you put in all the work to figure out what a fair price is on the services that you offer or the package that you're going to offer, how can you help people understand that value and be willing to pay you those prices happily and not even question you? So welcome, Denise, to the show. It's always fun to have you here and banter and have a conversation. And those of you who are listening, Denise is my partner in crime, if you didn't know. Denise, do you want to just share a little bit about you real quick for those that this might be their first time ever hearing the Abundant Accountant Podcast?
Sure, happy to do that. So I'm Denise Mandel, Michelle's partner in crime here on the East Coast. I'm in New Jersey, and I was a financial advisor for 22 years. Love working with accounting professionals and really helping you guys really express and be able to articulate your value, and not only articulate it, but get paid your value, because that's what's the bottom line. That's important, right? So thanks for having me, Michelle. I love this time together that we get to spend just really going back and forth and sharing our knowledge.
Yes, and ultimately it's to help you get more money in your pockets and help more people. Because for every single client that comes to you and tells you, you're too expensive, I got to think about it, all those little things that I was saying that you might hear from clients, we actually aren't able to help them. And they might go somewhere for less price. They might not do anything about their situation. And there's 2 clients that we've worked with that I think, Denise, we should really integrate their stories into today's show. And one is David. He sells very high-level tax resolution cases. And the other is Anna Barbara. And Anna Barbara most recently, she actually sent me a text yesterday. It was my birthday, and she said, Michelle, happy birthday. And I wanted to let you know that my birthday present to you is that I got 2 clients to pay me $25,000 each. And thank you for being you. And I was like, wow, that's like the best birthday present I've ever had and heard of. But it all stems from what we're talking about today, and that's how to show your value to potential customers and not back down from what that is. So we're going to incorporate, I think, those 2 today in all of our stories that we share, because both are really great examples of the possibilities that exist for you. And when you can see what's possible on the other side, that's really where magic will happen. Magic just really, goes into play at that point. So, Denise, does that sound like a good plan?
Sounds like a good plan. Even, I think of Andrea too. She just really stepping into her value and starting to understand how to express that, where people are like, oh, okay. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, well, let's talk about one of the first things, because in order to even sit in front of a client and be confident about your value or the price that you want to charge and not back down and discount and not give away information for free, I want to talk about Anna Barbara. And one of the first things that you might want to write down today, just to take note, to do an inventory of this, is to know yourself in order to know your value. And you might be thinking, well, Michelle and Denise, what does that mean? And it's really, who you are. And Anna Barbara is someone who has a specialty knowledge, right? If you call it specialized knowledge in international tax. She goes above and beyond. And when she first started working with us, some of you might relate to this, but if you think about it, the big firms, they charge a lot of money. Well, if you have a boutique firm and you're 1 or 2 or 3 or 1 to 5 people, partner firm, a boutique firm, wouldn't you actually charge more than the big firms? And one of the things that I was discussing with Anna Barbara was really understanding that concept of who you were, because a lot of times this comes across in the clients that Denise and I work with. And it took Anna Barbara a few months to see it. And I see it as if you have a boutique firm and you're a 1 to 5 person firm, they get more specialized attention. They get maybe personalized emails and phone calls from you and check-ins, and they don't have to go through, the 8 million different loops. It's like calling my doctor. I had to call my doctor today to get altitude sickness pills. And you have to call, and then you get put on hold, and then you have to talk to the admin person, and then they take a message, and then they send it to the physician assistant, and then finally the physician answers the physician assistant. The assistant then calls you back and says, okay, we'll send you a prescription to the Vaughn's Pharmacy. It's literally like that when you're dealing with a big firm. So in a boutique firm, if you know who you are, that you're unique and different and small and high touch, well, then we get to charge more for that. And really understanding that, Anna Barbara was able to turn the corner, and she sent me that yesterday, $50,000 in the bank. And that there's been a couple other ones like that, so she probably made over $100,000 or $200,000 in the last couple months. But really understanding what you do is another key ingredient, right, Denise?
Yeah, and I remember Anna Barbara was like, when we first met her, she was like kind of breaking things down a la carte and letting people choose instead of really, being like, no, this is what you need this and this, and, I'm the right person for it, and you're going to get better service with me than some big firm. So yes, that's why you're paying premium prices.
Yeah, and it's so funny. She sent me her a la carte price list. I think it was 100 lines long, and I deleted almost all of it and left 3 options and lumped everything together. So if you have a long a la carte price list with over 100 items on it, just group it together into 3 different packages and call it a day. So again, in order to really be able to communicate your value, you have to know yourself. So who are you? What do you do? How do you do it? And actually write this down and share it with your team, because your team is important in this whole process. Even if you don't have a team and you have just a virtual assistant helping you, whoever it is, just jot it down. What makes you different? With Anna Barbara, she speaks multiple languages, has a niche in international tax, been doing this a really long time, works virtually and remotely, has a boutique firm, is available not 24/7, but, we'll get back to you a lot quicker than my doctor analogy for when I just had to call my doctor today. And think about who you've gotten results for. So being able to share your success with other people. Like here, I'm sharing with you what Anna Barbara said, and I'll take a screenshot and put it somewhere. So I'm not making this up, but this is the truth, and really having those results is a key element. So I would say take an inventory of that, write out a couple sentences for each one, and share it with your team, because this is the number one thing before you can really be confident to stand behind the price. Because when you have the confidence, that's what people end up purchasing and buying, is you and your confidence. So Denise, what would be the next, ingredient per se, if we're looking at showing our value to our potential clients that we're going to be working with, our prospects that we're meeting with, based on what we've seen, the shifts have been with Anna, Barbara, and David. So each of you knows what is possible.
Yeah, so when you're expressing that, sometimes we're just too direct and we get techie,
Yeah.
and the client doesn't really understand what that is, right? So you have to learn how to language things a little differently. And I think, like for instance, a pencil's not just a pencil, right? It's a way to save your ideas.
Love
That's
that.
very different, right? Yeah, and a home isn't just a home. It's a place where you make memories and you spend time with your loved ones. See the difference? Yeah. So it's all how you express it, right? And, another one, a bed is not just a bed, it's a place where you can relax and where you recover and you bounce back and you wake up the next day and like you crush it, right? That's what a bed really is.
Yeah.
So it's really about just really understanding what the value is of what you actually do as an accounting professional. It's not just recording numbers.
No. And
Right?
and it's really, I was having a discussion today with Paul. Paul lives in Ireland. He's going to be on the Abundant Accountant podcast in the very near future. So make sure to hit that subscribe button if you have not subscribed so you get all the notifications. But Paul is so cool because he talks about, we're going to talk a little bit about value, Paul, but he focuses on human performance for accountants and peak performance. And one of the things is making sure also to not focus on the compliance side of things, but on the advisory side. And focusing more and think about those services like Anna Barbara, she had this 100-item a la carte list of services where really when you group them together, now she has a $25,000 off package, an offer, where people aren't looking at you like every other CPA firm because they have a menu. It's like going to the nail salon. Would you like a pedicure spa, a pedicure with sea salt and spa and wax, or a pedicure, and it's just like adding all these things on. Where if the nail salon just offered like the works, right? Or just the basic, most people would probably just go for the works.
Yeah, because it's talking about the results, though. Like, what are you going to feel like when you get the works, right?
Well, I'm going to feel relaxed. I'm going to have orange peels dripping down my toes. I'm going to have, lotion and potions and so small. Yeah, so for Anna Barbara, it's to put people at ease, and that's really where we're going next. Is the solution that you provide. You can say you do all the techie stuff, you do taxes, you do blah, blah, blah. But what about the end result? And someone in international tax, which Anna Barbara, if you're listening to this, kudos to you. Congratulations. It's all about having ease, removing all the penalties that most businesses incur when they move into the U.S. from another country. It's having that boutique feel. And I think I even explained this to Anna Barbara. Denise, you correct me if I'm wrong, but if you think about the value proposition, for those of you that live in the U.S. and that have a Nordstrom, at Nordstrom, they have a personal shopping service. I see all of you who want to charge higher fees that know exactly what you do, so you have to make sure you go back to that, right? You know who you are, you know what you do, you know how to do it, you know why you do it, you know how you're different than everyone else, and you know the results that you've gotten for your clients. Then you are like a personal shopper at Nordstrom's. They get a commission, they charge more, people typically buy a lot more because all their outfits are laid out. And the value proposition is that it's a done for you. You don't have to think about it. And also it's about thinking, what am I saving by doing it this way? Because if you do it the a la carte way, it might be more than $25,000 because you'll have your penalties and fees from doing it wrong because you tried to be cheap. And then you'll have all the different line items, right? Just like at the nail spa. And you never got to talk to your CPA because it was like calling the doctor's office. You had to go through all these hoops. And then if you add up your time, every time I call the doctor, it's like 30 minutes. Like, here we go. All right. You know, the timer's on. So that is a value proposition if you think about it from that point of view. Denise, what's another example?
The other thing is when you think about it, right, instead of buying, like thinking about hourly rates and things like that, it's really people just want to buy solutions. They don't want to buy sections. They want to buy solutions, right?
I like that. Yeah, I don't want a sectional. I want the whole living room.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Like when you go furniture shopping, right? Maybe you're looking for an end table, but then actually, if you see like the whole set together, you don't want to break up a set. You want the whole thing because it looks awesome. And then you feel awesome when you're walking in your living room.
And
Didn't you just get some new furniture, actually?
I did. And it's like I'm sleeping on a bed. It's dangerous. My living room's now turned into another bedroom. But back to the accountant world, right? Think about the solution and how your clients feel if they bought the package versus the sectional, right? Like they got the whole living room. They got the pillows, they got the footrest, they got the love seat, the sofa, the chair, the massager. They got the whole package. And then think about a solution also based on how your client would feel. And when you figure that out and you can communicate that, that's when a lot of things will start to shift for you.
Yep, absolutely. Because when you connect that value to the emotions and to what the client, how it's going to impact them, and you put it in their kind of thinking or languaging, then now you got a magical combination. And that's when you start getting those $25,000, $30,000, $50,000 clients.
Yep. So again, we're going to break it down into 3 things for you. Okay. So the first thing that you want to do today is really know yourself first. What do you do? How do you do it? Etc. Number 2, like we just talked about, it's the solution. We want to sell packages. And if you need a visual, because I really like that one, Denise, think of the whole living room. You don't want to just buy the chair and one orange pillow and this and that, right? This is not an a la carte service. We are personal shoppers at Nordstrom providing a full-blown solution to our clients that have them, number 3, think about how they feel. And you want to share about what David and what he's been able to do? Because he knows exactly what he does. And he knows exactly the solutions he provides. And we got to use his words because it's so good. So for any of you doing tax resolution, you might want to pay real close attention because some of this is just amazing what he's been able to create.
Yeah, I'm not sure the words you were thinking of, but I mean, David's just been he just is really clear that without his clients' help, like they are going to get they're going to get like what was it? He helps them like lower the stack of mail, like not sleep at night because they're not worried about opening their mail.
Yeah, he eliminates their tax seizures.
Their tax seizures. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so if we go back and we walk you through the steps, right, with David, so you can think about who it is that you work with. You know, who are you? Well, David helps people have mail opening ceremonies to get the IRS off his back. And what does he do? He helps them negotiate and figure out how to get clean with the IRS. And how does he do what he does is he engages with them at a very, very high fee between 10, 15, 20 grand, all the way up to $50,000 in order to eliminate their seizures, to be able to sleep peacefully at night and not have anxiety when they go to their mailbox. That was awesome. And why does he do what he does? Because he seriously has a passion and he's really good at what he does to help people, that have had the garnishment problem and just busy business people with lots of money who thought they could get away with, I guess, not paying the government, which I guess it doesn't work. And what makes him different? So what makes you different? What makes David different? He knows who he will work with and who he will not work with. He's very clear. He also is very unique and different because he will have a mail opening ceremony with you. It's almost like going to the Olympics with your mail. So on your first meeting, you get to have the ceremony and bring your whole stack of mail. If it's 100 letters, you bring 100 letters. So for you, accountants listening today, if you're working with those clients, that's a great idea. And who have you gotten results from? He's had so many testimonials, and he's working on getting more written and video testimonials. So that would be example number one, verbally explained to you for David. And number two, Denise, for his solution, right? Because in order to really share the value proposition and be able to get the prices that you demand, this is very important that you know the solution, and then number three, how they feel.
Right. Yeah, and David, because he's very clear on that, and we helped him with this, right?
Yeah.
He also gets a big chunk up front, and he sent us a picture of a check for $25,000.
Was it 20 or 25? Yeah, that's right.
It was 25 before he even started the work with them.
Yeah.
Because they understood the value, and then he'll get the difference when he is complete. But that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so his solution, so if you think about your solution and you were to write it down, the solution isn't that you're going to fill out form B and tax form X and, payroll X, Y, Z, and, select C Corp, S Corp, LLC Corp. It has nothing to do with that. The solution is what is going to be the end result for that client. And then the third key ingredient is how is that person going to feel? And when you can tie all that together, that is where the magic happens. So for David, the solution is putting a stop to the mail so that you can go to the mailbox and have zero anxiety and be able to peacefully just go out there and not have a panic attack.
You not wonder whether all of a sudden the cash you thought was in your account to pay to buy inventory is gone.
It's gone, yeah.
Right?
They got garnished. Your wages were garnished. Not wages, but, money was sucked out of your account and you didn't even know it. That would be horrible.
Yep.
Okay. And what are the other feelings, Denise, that David has experienced and expressed? Because for each of you, really understanding how your clients would feel is one of the most important things and probably one of the most awkward, weird things that you're ever going to have to think about.
Well, I think it is pretty obvious. Like with David, he has, there's a lot of fear that goes on. There's a lot of fear with tax resolution. There's reasons why people haven't paid their taxes because they're afraid. It's not only that they don't have they're afraid. They're afraid of the IRS, right? And when they haven't paid their taxes, they should be afraid.
Yeah.
And he helps them, he really gets them present to, if you don't fix this, it's not going to go away. It's not going to go away. It could get worse, right? But I think sometimes with some accounting professionals, it's more subtle. They it's a little bit more delicate. So, maybe you're saving, maybe the thing you're saying is, oh, well, I save them taxes. Well, that's not really emotional. What is it? What is the savings going to be for? Like, what is it going to provide for them? That they're going to, that they haven't been on a vacation with their family, creating magic. They'll be able to create more magical memories with their family.
I love that.
By
Magical
working with
memories,
you.
or putting their kids through college stress-free, where 4 years of college plus grad school set aside. Something like that. That
Yeah.
would be a feeling. That is very important to communicate when meeting with your prospects and clients, in order for them to pay you the prices and actually be happy about it. Like I was saying in the beginning, that is the way to show value. It's not much more complicated than that, but you have to do those 3 steps in order to get those types of results. And then you'll be surprised, like Anna Barbara and David, because I think all of them were a little shocked that it actually worked, and got these checks and sent us text messages and photos, to prove, Michelle and Denise, that really happened. I'm like, no, I like the proof. And what I want to share with you about proof as a bonus is having a Yelp review page, having a Google review page. On your website, have a client review page. Denise, chime in on what other things they can do, because that is another form of showing your value by how you've helped other people. And recently, I read the book Influence. It's a great book by Robert something. And
Robert Cialdini.
And one of the weapons of influence is social proof. And I'm glad that I've been doing it for a very long time, because I don't have a degree in psychology, but psychologists actually say that this helps, and it will help build your value. So if you need an example of what a client review page looks like, you can just go to theabundantakcountant.com and go to success stories or client reviews and copy ours as a format. But having client reviews is the bonus that I invite you each to do, and start getting client stories, client testimonials. You could, if you have a Facebook for your business, you could set up Facebook reviews. What other review thingies are there, Denise, that I'm not thinking of?
I think you covered them. Google review maybe is another one.
Okay, we said Google.
Yeah.
And then another, like Andrea, she's in our class right now. She does a lot of blogs. Or maybe you even want to do a guest podcast on somebody, let's just say Anna Barbara, expert in international tax. I'm sure there's a lot of podcasts out there dealing with international business where she could come on and be a guest expert. This is like layering the foundation. If you were putting up a house and they layer the concrete or the cement before they build your house, that's the foundation. And the foundation and value are all these elements that we're talking about. So the 3 that you would do with a client, but the subtle one is what we're talking about here, with really being good with your social proof. So there's a lot of things. I know it sounds overwhelming. Pick one.
Because it's very powerful. It's people live vicariously through others. So it's one thing if you say it, but if somebody else says something good about you, that's adding to your value, your social value, right? Yes. And then when you're sitting in front of someone and you're positioned as the expert, right, because they've seen you on a podcast or heard you on or seen your article on LinkedIn or wherever it is, now that's adding more value, because it's almost like you're creating your celebrity status almost.
You are. It is. But it's really being able to also show prospects and referral partners and people who might refer you business that you know what you're doing and that you produce good results and you do great work, just like the personal shoppers at Nordstrom's. So,
and again, right, Michelle, it goes back to the know, like, and trust factor, because the more they see other people like you and are happy with your services, they're like, I might like that person. I'm going to check them out.
Yes, it is. So along with the know, like, and trust and your bonus social proof, you've got your 3 other agenda items. I hope you found this very helpful and actionable to put into action right away. And you were able to maybe think about one of the things we talked about. We gave you some great analogies that might stick, right? So we've got, you don't want to be the big firm where you've got to call the doctor and then you have to talk to 4 other people before they get to the doctor. Nah, we charge 4 or 5 times the price and call ourselves a boutique firm. Or also, in summary, we talked about laying the foundation and the concrete slowly. And that could be your Google review page. It could be your Facebook review page. It could be your Yelp review page. It could be your client review page. Again, you can go to theabundantaccountant.com for an example and copy ours. I don't care. Just use the same format. Denise, what other analogies do we use today? We use personal shopper at Nordstrom.
Right.
And how if you offer a solution and not an a la carte package, it's the done for you. And people will embrace and value that a lot more than just getting like the shirt and then the belt and then they have to go find their pants. It's kind of like if a business comes to you, just do everything. In bookkeeping and the payroll.
Whole enchilada.
Yeah, do the tax plan first to first get them in a good position. Unless they're in a horrific position, then you'll be like David and do some tax resolution work first. And then offer all of your monthly maintenance packages and implementation and monthly services and profit first and bookkeeping and the whole enchilada. And for all that, you could probably charge $50,000, $60,000, $75,000. And there was one other analogy. Oh, if the personal shopper Nordstrom analogy does not sit with you, then Denise's one about the living room. And it's like going furniture shopping, and you don't want to just get just the chair and then the decorative pillow. We want the living room. We're going to get the sofa, the sectional, the chair, the footrest, the pillows. We're going to do it all, and we're going to buy it as a package. And for what you each do, it's the same thing. So think about where today you can go and change your packages and offerings so you're not like Anna Barbara with a list of 100 a la carte items and we narrow it down to 3, but really learn how to show that value to your customers and potential clients, because if we show them a la carte list of 100, we lose them and no one can process all that information. And now I feel like I'm filling out a home mortgage application with all that information. It sounds exhausting.
Yeah. That sounds heavy. Like I just put another 20 pounds on my shoulders.
Yeah.
It's like, you're going to help them lose the weight, right?
Yes, exactly. Well, thank you, Denise, for being here. Thank you all for tuning in and listening. It's always an honor to be here with you. Also, if you are struggling with not having a sales process, maybe you're just winging it all the time, or this value proposition thing is a little difficult to grasp, or you find yourself discounting your services just to get clients, or maybe the last one is that you keep giving it away for free. Well, if that's a problem, feel free to go to theabundantcall.com. You can book a strategy session for free with Denise or I. We love to give away an hour of our time to potential clients. So you must be an accountant, you must own your own business, and you must have been in business for at least 2 years. So again, feel free to head on over to theabundantcall.com. You can book a free hour strategy session to see, and really get to the truth of your sales conversations. Like if you're really wanting to look at this and you're sick of leaving money on the table and you want those $25,000 checks like David and Anna Barbara and others, we will help explore and see if it's a good fit to work together. And if not, we'll steer you in whatever direction would be best for you. But once again, theabundantcall.com. It's always an honor to be here with you on the podcast. It's always fun to talk about sectionals and shopping and doctor's calls and all of our other fun analogies that I hope have stuck with you. And have a beautiful day.